Hey, Sean Chan. See?
I got him. There, now you have a clip. You can run clips, outtakes. There you go.
I'll just leave it in. Hey, Sean Chandler here, and I'm joined by one of my buddies. Introduce yourself.
I'm Jerry. That's all you need to know.
This is Jerry, and that's all you need to know, except one other thing. We just went to go see King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. So our first, going into the movie, I know for me, I was nervous about the movie because it was directed by Guy Ritchie, and I was like, I don't get how this is going to work. The trailers seemed odd, and they seemed just as weird as the mix of Guy Ritchie with King Arthur smashed together with Led Zeppelin, and wasn't quite sure what to do with all that. And then some of my buddies saw it, like Cody Leach saw it, and he really enjoyed it, or thought it was way better than he was expecting it to be. So I was getting excited, and then the Rotten Tomatoes score is like at a 22%. Then I was like, I don't know what to think going into this. What about you?
Well, I'm happy that Cody liked it. That's good. I was going in afraid, because I was worried we're going to deal with typical hack and slash, just somehow tied around the legend of King Arthur, where we weren't going to get a whole lot of the legend. We're just going to get a lot of hack and slash. So, but I love King Arthur films. It's a soft spot for me, so had to go see it.
All right. And so with all that said, we've now seen it. Did you want to go first with your thoughts?
Oh, it's your show, Sean.
All right, I will go first then.
Yes.
So for me, I found enough enjoyment in it. There were things that I liked in it, but overall, all of my fears and reservations about Guy Ritchie directing it, all those fears are really real. Like, you're watching it, and it's like this serious, mythological epic with kind of the King Arthur kind of sprinkled in there. Mm-hmm. And then it cuts to a scene, and it's like straight out of it. It's like someone did a Mad TV sketch spoofing, like, what if you did King Arthur with Guy Ritchie directing? Like, right after Snatch came out, they're like, what if we had the same, like, dialogue, and they're telling a story, and it's jumping through time, except it was, like, with King Arthur. And then it does that, and then it gets serious again, and let's kill some kids for a little bit to make it serious. And then it cuts back, and there's another one of these scenes 20 minutes later. And it's like, I could see how if it was that movie the whole way, I could be like, okay, I know what this is, and I kind of like it. Mm-hmm. Or if it was like serious, I kept thinking to myself, if it was closer to like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and kind of the way it's told, because there's even like the template of the movie, there's elements to it that kind of follow the vibe of that, or some of the plot points in it. It's in broad senses. You can see kind of where some of the pieces fit together. But it's not. It's this weird mix of like Guy Ritchie-isms and big sword crazy serious, and it couldn't quite pick. And then the lead guy in King Arthur just weren't. It seemed like he could have been any guy. It didn't, like, Arthur himself wasn't compelling. Like, there were things that were kind of compelling, but then the sword kind of took his place. It's not that he was like this compelling king that pulled people around him. It was like, oh, because you're able to pull the sword, we believe in you. Yeah. Oh, the reason we believe in you is because you have the sword now.
Yeah, the Monty Python concept.
Yeah, right.
It's like, oh, you pulled a sword from the light. Oh, I guess we should bow before you.
And that's what the way the movie plays out.
Say how you feel, yeah.
Plays out like that. Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, I did enjoy the movie. It's not like I wasn't bored per se. And it is like I contrasted. If I had been just like picked this up from Redbox, how would I feel afterwards? I'd be like, all right. I mean, that was a lot more enjoyable than a lot of things. And that's kind of where it fell for me. There's a lot of enjoyment there, but it's a movie that's just kind of really is a weird mix of kind of things together. And there's scenes where I was like, this is really cool action. And then they would do something that was like, really? That's the, like, he's got the sword and that's what you did for that? Okay. I could see maybe if there was more of that. If you committed all the way to that, I could see maybe, but we're like really far into the movie to kind of introduce this kind of new vibe for things. That's it was supposed to be like 30-second pitch. That was like 3 minutes.
No, it's your show. He gets 3 minutes. Anyhow. No, I'm not far from agreeing with you at all. When people say movies are a roller coaster ride, that's kind of a mistake and a very bad example, because roller coasters go way up and then they go way down. And I agree with you, that was one of the things that was problematic for the film. The mistakes I think that I feel you're articulating also have to do with the fact that the magic that's in this movie, the magic that we see it relies too much on digital, and it's
Yeah.
overdone.
Oh, yeah.
This is something Peter Jackson talked about in Lord of the Rings. Whenever he had a situation with magic, he's like, I've got to keep it subtle. You overuse magic in a film, especially when you got digital, it's not going to work. It's not going to play well. That was one of the things that, yes, kept it going up and down and made you like parts of the movie and then not like parts of the movie. I did like Guy Ritchie's dialogue in it because at least, at least he's good with writing.
When it did the Guy Ritchie stuff, like I was watching it, and when I was like, this actually really does feel like Guy Ritchie 15 years ago. This is Snatch. This is Lock, Stock, and Two Stock.
Yeah.
And I made the Mad TV comparison, but like it's really it doesn't feel like he's forcing it, or that could have worked if that was the movie.
And the Sherlock Holmes sense of humor. Sherlock Holmes, yeah.
And if that was the movie, but it's 15 minutes of the movie. It's it's like an eighth of the movie is super Guy Ritchie, and then maybe another 15% is kind of Guy Ritchie, and then 70% of the movie is just epic magic movie that's
They did hold back on the hack and slash. I was so scared there was gonna be more epic, overdone battles and kung fu, but it was there, but they kept it just at a right level. They could have been a lot worse. That's why the movie's getting off a lot easier than it normally would with me, because you know me, I hate almost everything. So
it's true.
Yeah, but that was the thing that was kind of a little bit of the saving aspect. It was a little bit better than I was worried it was going to be bad. I can see why Rotten Tomatoes kind of broke even on it.
Yeah.
Let's see, there was the visuals got it in trouble, and I think that was the main thing. Is once again just an example of the thing that I'll always say is just that movies in the 21st century always have one big problem, and that's you see a story that's trying to figure out what it wants to be, and that needs to be figured out once the script is written, not in post-production.
Yeah, and this one, I mean, it felt like they really were trying to figure out the movie they wanted to make.
Right.
And throughout the whole movie, kind of the opening scene is kind of big, epic. Some of the stuff you see in the trailer that you would think might be a third act, like that's kind of right where you start. Is some of the most, probably the biggest sequence is the opening sequence.
And like Man of Steel, one of the things, because I love Man of Steel, but one of the things that hurt was we open with just a digital landscape. Everything's digital, and of course a movie becomes a video game and a cartoon. That was one of the things that hurt it in the beginning, and like I say, in different scenes. One moment it's real, one moment it's a cartoon.
Yeah, and it starts off with this big epic CGI, like, whoa, what am I looking at?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, like an hour and a half of like grounded magic, super light, more kind of like more vision type stuff as opposed to like big CGI stuff,
which is fine.
And then you go through this big stretch, and then suddenly it like something happens involving the sword, because obviously almost everything in the movie involves the sword.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, like we just jumped onto a green screen, and then kind of once again you get to the third act, and we're back to it. It's like a bookend to the bigness of the openness and opening with the creature, epic scale, big wide shots, CGI, but like the whole middle of it is not really like that. And so it has a very odd mix, because things were enjoyable enough, but really uneven because it was so CGI in parts. And then it cuts to like him just like fighting people with his bare hands and training, and
Sherlock Holmes fisticuffs.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I want to give him credit for one specific thing when it comes to digital, because some people, it's just turning into a video game throughout the whole movie. In this case, it looks like Ritchie used certain points where, like, we're going to take the digital and we're going to use visual. We're going to make it surreal. We're going to make it a part of the movie, which, if you're going to have digital in your film, make it artistic. Make it surreal, make it dreamlike, because that was the problem with movies, when we were kids, is it was very difficult to do dreams, very difficult to do hallucinations. Here, with digital and 21st century films, dreams and surrealness, it's just there, and it can work. So the only thing I would say, is for certain types of people. If you love hack and slash, if you love, a good action, something that entertains you, yes, you'll get everything you need from this film. If you are an English major like me, only worse than me, and you feel that you cannot betray Thomas Mallory and Le Maltu d'Arthur or the Celtic writings or any of the legend, and you simply will not tolerate King Arthur being disrespected in any way, shape, or form, you don't want to see this. You don't want to see. You don't want to see most movies. You don't. Just don't. Don't. Love yourself and don't see it. Everyone else, you'll be fine.
Yeah, and I guess I was kind of make my recommendation. This one feels like a red box type movie to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that, if I wasn't doing something like this, I probably would have been like, I'll just wait till Redbox. I'd pick it up at Redbox, watch it at home, and be like, oh, that was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But as a movie, I just kind of go out to go see it. There's enjoyment in there. If I hadn't had people like Cody saying that he liked it a good bit,
yeah,
I probably would have gone into this with such low expectations that I would have been like, oh yeah, that was pretty enjoyable, as well. But so anyway, that's kind of where I fall on. Any kind of closing final thoughts?
It's good, not great, good,
good.
Yeah. Plus, I honestly think that, once again, like we've seen with several films we've seen together, something tells me with the way they promoted this film, this was also meant, once again, for the Beijing audience of 3 billion, and that's where they're trying to make their money. But still, not bad.
Right. Even adjustments in where he's training and where he learns some things, who makes it into the round table, you go, okay, you can see where they're trying to work some things here and all of that.
Yeah.
All right, with all that said, did you have anything you want to plug or anywhere to point us towards where we can find you, or are you good to go?
No, you can't find me at all. It's,
He's a mystery.
I am, and I shall remain that way, unless I wish to let you know, and it will be for my amusement, not yours.
Interesting. As for me, of course, you can find me on this channel that you're watching right now. If you're new to my channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I do movie reviews like this one that's kind of a live reaction coming straight out of the theater. Other times are more formal reviews. I also do some TV talk. I do some reactions. And I have this thing called Masters of Movie Trivia, where I do a movie trivia show with some other YouTubers. We have a new episode that went live today as of like 3 hours before this moment in time where this is being filmed. Go check that out. It is amazing. And then next week we have the final episode of season 1 will go up, so please subscribe so you can check that out. With all that said, thank you for watching. Oh yeah, tell us what you think about it down in the comment section down below. We would love to hear your thoughts and interact with you. Now thank you for watching.